Well, another week's gone by and I'm still yet to hear from our Police Minister, Mr Reece Whitby. Now, just recapping, I was injured as a police officer in 2004. I was run over on the Kwinana Freeway by a motor vehicle. I was very seriously injured and spent 7 years in rehabilitation dealing with the horrific nature of my injuries, and I still suffer quite significantly from those injuries today. Now, in 2012, I was offered an assurance by the Insurance Commissioner of West Australia, who pay the bills for police officers in regards to injuries. I was offered an assurance by them that I would be able to access post-service medical when and if I chose to leave the WA Police. So up until that time, all my bills were being paid by the WA Police, by ICWA, through the police service. So in 2014, I left the WA Police. Now, in 2014 to 2026, today, pretty much, I've been paying my own bills. Okay, now, some people said that was pretty naive of me to do that, but hey, I didn't want to burden the WA taxpayer. When I was a WA police officer, they'd spent almost $300,000 on my recovery up until that point. So after I left the job, the assurance was there, but I thought, I'll pay my own bills. I have the capability to do that. Over the last couple of years in particular, those costs are starting to become quite a burden. So a few weeks ago, I decided to make a claim for some medical costs. I need to be told by the Insurance Commissioner that I was not eligible to make a claim. So that assurance they gave me 12 years ago was pretty much thrown out the door. So quite concerning. So I contacted our Police Minister, Mr Whitby, and asked for support. I said, look, this is what's happened. I need your support. And I was ignored. That was 50 days ago. All right, 40 days ago, Shadow Police Minister Adam Hort challenged Mr Whitby in Parliament regarding why he hadn't got back to me and why he was ignoring me. Now, to his credit, Mr Whitby responded to that question quite respectfully, but naively, I assumed he'd get back to his office and make contact, but that hasn't occurred. 25 days ago, I made contact with his office again to say, look, I haven't heard back. What's going on? I'm still being ignored. So, still haven't heard. I also sent contact to Rita Safiotti, who is the Minister overseeing the Insurance Commission of West Australia, but haven't heard from her either. Now, this is a police minister who's giving assurances that he's listening to the WA Police. He's acting on the concerns of serving officers and former officers as well, when I've been shown clear evidence that that pretty much is not the case. So that's quite concerning. So for me, it's about continuing to really challenge these politicians in regards to responding to the concerns of serving and former WA police officers. Now, I've been contacted by a large number of officers, emails, phone calls and messages, both serving and former WA police officers, saying, Paul, you're wasting your time with this police minister. He's inept. He doesn't get back to you. He ignores you. That's concerning. That's concerning in a number of ways, that those officers would be so disillusioned that they're not being listened to. More importantly, it reflects poorly on our police minister in regards to his claims that he is supporting WA police. So we need to address that. Now, I've been serving my community, both WA and Australia, for 32 years. Okay, 20 years of that as a police officer, and many other years in the advocacy and other work I've been doing. Now, the fact that I've been ignored is not only frustrating, but it's quite concerning. But I feel for those officers who don't have a voice. I feel for those officers who are too scared to speak up. They're the ones who need that voice. And the fact that they're being abandoned by our police minister should concern all Western Australians. Now, I'll make this very clear. The WA Police is in crisis. We're in a position now where every West Australian should be concerned at the number of police officers who are out on the street, or more importantly, the number of police officers who aren't out on the street. We had 300 officers resign last year alone. Okay, that's huge numbers. The WA police attrition rate is almost at 10%. So it's 7.5% at the moment. That's the fourth highest it's been in 70 years. So those numbers should worry people. Okay, the fact that WA residents are calling the police and not being answered, not getting a response for a long time, shouldn't fall on the officers who are trying to respond. It should fall to government. Okay, our population's continuing to increase. It has done over many years. There's more people out there. West Australia is expanding in huge ways. Yeah, we've had an 11% drop in the number of police officers who are serving those community members. So our population's rising. Our police population is drastically reducing. So what is our police minister doing about that? He's ignoring me. He's ignoring those who are suffering. It would only be an assumption to believe that he's ignoring all these issues as well. 87 police officers were medically retired from the WA Police last year alone. Now that's more in 1 year than there has been in the last 10 years combined. Now these are officers who've been injured in the line of duty. They've been told to leave, they've been medically retired, so forced out against their will. Many have tried to fight that, but once the system starts, too bad, so sad. So they'll throw them 30, 40,000 here and there, just to say, here you go, it's a bit of an incentive to leave, off you go. All right. And when those officers try to claim post-service medical, they're questioned, they're refused, and in some cases, their bills aren't even paid. So that, again, is a concern. All right. These are officers who can contribute, even though they may be injured. Yes, I get it. They're not being able to do the job that they're employed to do. Okay, I was able to fight medical retirement, forced medical retirement in 2007. I fought it. Okay, and I was lucky. I was able to keep my job, but I was contributing. That's the reason, and so many of these officers are. During my rehabilitation, which was the toughest part of my life, I was going through hell through many years. Okay, but during that time, I received a commendation from the Commissioner of Police. I received a Pride of Australia medal. I was a finalist for Police Officer of the Year. And I was nominated for Australian of the Year. So I was contributing. Even though I wasn't out on the road, I wasn't out on the front line, I was contributing. Okay, so these officers have worth. But why are they being kicked out? For one reason. They're costing money. Okay, their medical bills are being paid. So our government's going, what the hell? Why are we paying for these people? Kick them out. Okay, chuck them a lump sum, which is a pittance. Okay, they'll accept it. Those who fight, okay, we'll chuck them a little bit more, but let's kick them out so we don't have to pay their bills anymore. That's abandonment. And every West Australian should be concerned about this. So I still love the job. Okay, I miss it. I'm speaking to over 500,000 Australian children, many of them now at an age where they're looking for a career. If someone comes up to me and says, oh, Paul, what do you reckon? Should I join the police? For so long, I've been going, yeah, it's a great job. The diversity is great. You get to see the entire state. Some of the people you work with as police officers are awesome. You get to work with so many great people in the community. Yeah, there's some tough times as well, but it's a great job. I don't want to get to the point where I don't want to do that anymore. But it's coming close. And the fact that you've got a police minister who completely ignores you doesn't add strength to that. Okay? I don't want to say, don't join. Because if you get hurt, if something goes wrong, you'll be abandoned. You'll be thrown on a trash heap and ignored. And when you ask for help, when you ask for support from a person who is in a position that he should be helping, the fact that you're being ignored is unacceptable. How would that look on a recruiting post? Okay. And I don't want to get to the point where I go, don't join. Please don't join. So I challenge our police minister, act, respond. Find the courage to get back to me. Find the courage to address these issues rather than just go, oh, whatever. Okay, this is going to be an election issue. We've got an election coming up in 2029. Now, that seems like a way away yet, but it'll be here quick. And this will be an election issue. Every WA resident, everyone living in this state should be concerned about the number of police that are leaving, and more importantly, how these police officers are not being supported. So we need to address it. Okay, I ask you to support my petition and sign my petition. Okay, the link is on the screen at the moment, and I'll ask you to please visit that and offer your support for officers who deserve to be looked after. Okay, the WA Police is still the only policing agency in this country that does not have a comprehensive compensation scheme for police officers. This is 2026, it's not the dark ages. All I'm asking for is fair and equitable treatment. But because our police minister hasn't got the courage to get back to me, I've got to start throwing out this content to be heard. So if the Labor government want to stay in power, they better address this. Okay, because we are having officers leave in huge numbers. More importantly, we're not having people join. And that should be a concern. As I said, that should be a concern to every West Australian. So let's start supporting our WA police. Let's start thinking about helping those who are suffering, which is what every other industry does. Thanks for your support.